awesome. Chris gives me the space to do what I want to do, and you know, he's a director. He's got so much going on and so much that he's doing, and he always takes the time to really like make sure I know what's up. We always have our moment like before we do the take, you know, where he really is just there with me to let me know, okay, this is what we're doing, you know, and he's really fun too. I found myself sitting behind the monitor quite a bit with him, like in between takes or like when I wasn't in front of the camera, just because it was so fun, you know, to be back there and like watching what he's doing and what the DP is doing and watching it all come together, you know. And he always let me, which was nice. I didn't feel like I was in his way or anything, and I'd be like, is it okay if I'm back here? And yeah, he treated me pretty well and let me kind of do whatever I wanted.
Leslie Ann is, we went through an open casting call in LA, and we've been trying to look for somebody who has that unique quality with a very minimal amount of acting. It's more, it's just everything is in her eyes, everything is in her presence, in her body language. And we were very fortunate to find Leslie Ann because we went through over, I think, 50 actresses. And she just turned out to be so much embodying Kate, the character, and it just seems to be a perfect fit.
The thing that I really like about her is she's strong. So she, of course, there's the whole thing about premonition of death and all of that, and I think that would get pretty gloomy. Like if you were constantly seeing people and knowing when they're gonna die, I mean, just that must make for a really like strong person. And Chris wrote her really young, which I really appreciated because it's not often that there's like strong young women in film or even on TV, you know. So I would say she's strong. She's got a lot of baggage. She's not a happy camper, but she's got a lot going on in that little brain of hers, you know. She has a lot of history.
Well, I never really estimate how she's going to be, but then after we first met, and she's very, very friendly to talk to, and we got on quite well, you know, straight away. And yeah, and then as we, you know, as we progress, yeah, I mean, because I'm like the I always like mucking about and fooling around, and her too. I wasn't too surprised because she seemed like the type she can have fun with, and we had a lot of fun.
He was really fun. He was so much fun. You know, all I knew was I was coming to Hong Kong and I was gonna work with this huge pop star guy. And I didn't even know his name or anything, you know, coming into it, which I actually thought was a good idea. Like, I didn't want to research him or find out too much about him just because I wanted to keep it fresh when I did really meet him, you know, because in the film, we don't know each other and we have to meet. And so I didn't want to have any preconceived notions of what he's like, you know? So I just like got thrown into it, and we met before we started work, and he was really, really fun to have around. He can get kind of crazy. He's like, he likes to have fun, and it was cool to, he taught me a lot about like Hong Kong and taught me words and stuff. It was really fun, and he's really impressive, actually, the work that he does.
The biggest challenge for this film, first, it is a low-budget independent film, but at the same time, the film was shot in 2 different countries with 2 different crews. So it was, because usually when you make a film, you know, 2 weeks into filming, the whole crew really got to know each other. They really, you know, started to get along, and then, you know, you build up momentum, and the shooting usually go well, much faster, more efficient after 2 weeks. But for this film, we shot in LA for 2 weeks, and that was it. We stopped, and then we came to Hong Kong and started with the new crew all over again. So that was a very, very big challenge for me, because there's not a lot of time to build up momentum, and once the momentum's built up, you have to stop. So it was, you know, challenging. That was the biggest challenge for this shoot, I think. The filming in Hong Kong was very, very unforgettable, because it was my first time to work in Hong Kong as the director. And it just, the speed of how the crew approach each shot and each setup was quite impressive. I mean, they were just super fast. I mean, they were just tireless. You know, you can ask anything and they'll never complain. They would just go ahead and do it. Sometimes they can do it, sometimes they cannot, but at the same time they always try, which is very different from the US, because US, they will, you know, they have a certain way of doing things, and they'll tell you this is not possible. And that's it, you know. But in Hong Kong, you can just ask for any crazy thing. They just go ahead and do it. You know, you want to hang a camera off a building, you would just still go do it. You know, just the work ethic is very different. The idea of what's doable, what's not doable is very different. So that's the most impressive thing about.
Here are very different on set, in a good way. Chris described it to me to try and prepare me for it. He described it as much more organic here in Hong Kong. And I didn't quite know what he meant by that until I got here. Just the way the set works in the States is can be very regimented. You know, there's a lot of sort of things rules that you have to abide by, and like ways that things work, you know, and you know, you have to stick with your department, you know, and it kind of is like a well-oiled machine, so it's good. But here, if something needs to get done, everybody jumps on it. You know what I mean? It's just like, we need this, boom, there's like 10 guys on it, and like in 2 minutes it's taken care of, you know? And people are willing to, you know, like help in other departments, you know? Like the camera department is working with the gaffer department or whatever, I don't even know all the terms, but everyone's just really willing to like get it done, and it feels a lot more like a team, I guess. You know, it would be blazing hot one day, and of course it was the day that I had to run a whole bunch, and so we were like sweating so profusely. And then the next day it's like pouring rain, and we've got to sit and wait for the rain for 2 hours to clear out before we can get the next shot. And so that took a little bit of an adjustment for me to get used to the weather and stuff. It's exciting, but it can be scary a little bit to come to a new country where you don't speak the language and everything is moving so fast, and I'm used to the way things are in Los Angeles and working there. And I guess I want to say thanks to everybody, because it's been such a good experience. I wouldn't have changed anything about it. I mean, I got to come here and do what I love to do and work, and be part of an awesome crew and tell an awesome story. I mean, I'm really, really grateful. So I guess that would be the last thing I'd say, is like thank you to everybody, and I love Hong Kong.
I hope the film can sort of tell its own story, and hopefully it would be something that people will enjoy watching.
To the audience, I hope you guys enjoy the movie, this is the ultimate goal for any of us.
What's wrong?